Hey guys, this video by far is the hardest video I've ever made. It's something I've been putting off for a very long time. But I think it's important to talk about mental health, and especially in males. So I'm going to run through, explain why you don't see my kids in my videos anymore. I have 3 kids. And also at my age, I'm nearly 40 years old, why I still drive around in a 1989 Hilux. So I'll run through, and if I can share my personal experiences that are really hurtful to me, then I think you can easily share that with a mate. If I can do it on camera in front of the whole world to see, there's no reason you can't turn to a mate and say, mate, I'm not okay. This is really hard for me to talk about, but for nearly 2 years now, I haven't been able to see 2 of my kids. My eldest son, Ben, he's 19 now. He lives with me full time, which is fantastic. I've finally got one of my children full time. But that's nearly 2 years that I haven't seen my other 2 kids. And I've never gone more than a couple of weeks my whole life I'm not seeing my kids. And guys, act tough. We're brought up that way. Not to show emotion, bottle it up. And that's what I've always done my entire life. I've never shared anything with anyone. And that's really affected me as a person. Bottling it up isn't good. Don't do that. Don't be like me. I find it hard now to connect with people and show any kind of emotion. A couple of years ago, my grandfather passed away, and growing up he was like a father to me. And when I lost him, I didn't even shed a tear. Now that's terrible. My own grandfather who raised me, and I couldn't even cry when he passed away. So acting tough is what we're all brought up to believe, but it's really not good for you in the long term. You don't want to end up like I am. Now, before I explain how I lost my 2 kids, I need to go back and explain how I was traumatized from a much younger age, starting when I was 18 and I first met my ex-wife, the kid's mother. It was great at first. We had kids very young. It was definitely not planned. It was an accident. Our first son, Ben, but we don't regret it for a second. I love Ben more than anything in the world. But yeah, I had to grow up very quick. I was still only a child myself at 18. And we continued our relationship. We were together for 8.5 years. We got married. I did the right thing. And then she left me for another person. And then I didn't get to see my kids. I wanted to have my kids 50-50. She wouldn't allow it. So I only got to see my kids every second weekend. Not even allowed to drop them off at school on a Monday morning. And from living with my kids for so many years to seeing them once for one night over a weekend, every second weekend, and not even allowed to drop them at school, like do nothing involved with their school. She tried to block me from all their school interviews, anything school related. Yeah, I had to really fight to get involved with the kids in any sort of way. And then about probably 6 months to a year after we had separated, my best friends finally couldn't stand me not knowing what had happened. They were honest with me, and I'm thankful that they were finally able to be honest with me, and admitted to me that my partner had been cheating on me the entire 8.5 years we were together, right from the start until the end when she left me for someone else. And then when I confronted her about it, my friends basically told her if she didn't tell me everything that happened, they were going to tell me everything anyway. So she did confess. It was an hour-long phone conversation, and that was the hardest day of my life. I found out that my 3 kids that I loved more than anything, my whole world, she didn't know if any of those kids were my kids. She could not remember how many partners she had had the whole time we were together, which just broke my heart. And to know that my kids might not be my kids that I'd raised just completely shattered me. And my life has never been the same since. I sort of went in denial after that for a couple of years. And then my next partner convinced me, look, I know it's going to cost a lot because she wasn't going to pay for any testing to prove that they were mine. If I wanted to prove they were mine, I had to pay for the DNA testing. So my partner finally convinced me to go ahead and do it. So I did. I paid the money to have all 3 kids tested, and just for peace of mind. And then I would have the answer, and I could just forget about that whole past and move on. And I was just extremely lucky that all 3 kids were mine. That was a huge weight off my shoulders. And it's something I don't like to share at all. So this stuff I'm sharing now, it's probably going to kill my channel, but I'm only doing this to try and get other blokes to come forward and talk to a mate if there's an issue, or if your mate isn't acting normal, go ask him, mate, are you okay? Don't do it on just the one day a year, the are you okay day. That's just a social media grab. People put on their posts, are you okay? And that's it. They never ask anyone for the rest of the year. Always keep an eye on your mates. You don't want to lose a mate. So constantly check up on your mates, make sure they're okay. Because on camera, I look happy as. I don't show my real side to anybody. A lot of my videos, I act happy and put on a brave face. And I found these videos have been helpful. They help me forget about what's going on in my life, and it's a distraction. So it's hard to even talk. It is actually beneficial for me to do these videos because, yeah, it's not really pushing it down, but it just gives me something to take my mind off of it. After my marriage was over, for quite a few years, I had a lot of unsuccessful relationships that didn't last more than a couple of months. Every single person I'd meet would hurt me. Because I was such an easy, vulnerable target, I got cheated on with every single partner I had, and I believed that no matter who I found, I was always going to get cheated on my entire life. I hadn't found a loyal partner until probably, I think it might have been, I can't remember now, 6-7 years ago, I met my previous partner, and she seemed completely different. She had a normal job, her head was screwed on, financially stable, she was really friendly. It was the first time I was happy ever. And for 2.5 years, it was great, but I could see slowly my best friend of 14 years was slowly working his way in, and there was nothing I could do about it. I tried to remove him in the end from our relationship and remove him as a friend, but she wouldn't allow that because obviously she was sort of getting feelings for him. And I also spoke to him, but he would just report back to her, and then I'd be in trouble. So there was nothing I could do, and eventually after 2.5 years, she left me for my best friend of 14 years. So that was another kick in the guts for me. Back to thinking that every single partner I ever have is going to cheat on me and make it very hard to trust anybody, because I'd always trusted all my partners, even though I'd been screwed over in the past. I still gave everyone the benefit of the doubt and trusted each partner, and yeah, that's how it turned out. After that relationship breaking down, I was just completely broken inside. Even though I didn't show it to anybody, I still put on a brave face and acted tough and just pushed it all down, which made me even worse. And living in the Riverland since I was 17, I had no family here. I've got no one at all besides my friends. And after that, I just wanted to be around family again. I hadn't been around my family since I was 17. I'd been on my own, been independent. So I moved from the Riverland in South Australia back down to Mount Gambier, where my entire family lives. Pardon me. But that meant not seeing my kids as often because I couldn't travel 500 k's each way, each second weekend, to have them for the weekend. So I had to compromise. We drawn up a custody agreement, which she gladly agreed to. Pardon me. Because it meant that she got the kids more and I got them less. So it turned out that I could only have them for 1 week of every school holidays. So that's all she would let me have them. I wanted them for the whole school holidays, but she wouldn't allow it. So I just had to take what I could get. As I'll explain in a minute, the court system in Australia is still very biased. Women still get the kids the majority of the time, and it's very hard for a bloke to get access to their children, which is probably the reason why most of males commit suicide over kids and divorces. It's just unfair what the blokes have to go through. So yeah, I moved down with my family, and I had the kids every school holidays. Always loved going to pick them up, take them down. I always made sure it was an adventure for them. We went to all different places every time, and they absolutely loved it. But after a year of being down there, I really missed them. And I said to the kids, look, do you want to keep coming down and seeing the family down there and seeing all these cool places, or would you rather have me up there and see you more often again? And they told me they wanted me back here. So I made the hard decision, and I moved back here again, just for my kids. And when I got back here, I tried to speak with the mother. I'm not going to mention any names. And she refused. She would not let me have the kids any more than what I already did. And because I pay so much in child support, which I'll explain again soon, I can't afford a lawyer to fight her in court. And I've heard stories of other fathers, I've spoken to lots of fathers about this, and they've been told in the past that they've spent 30 grand on lawyers, eventually they ran out of money, and were told by the judge, if you don't have representation, you leave my court. And that's just not fair. How is it a guy has to be loaded to be able to get access to their kids? I work full time, always have worked full time. I've worked my entire life. And yet I struggle every week because of the amount of child support I pay. And no matter what job I have, if I get a higher paying job, I end up paying higher in child support and end up with the same amount of the low wage, which I struggle with. After having paid my bills, I'm left with $50 a week, if that, 50 a fortnight, maybe 100 at the most for a bit of beer. And any entertainment I want to do. If I want to go camping, that's why I eat snags a lot of the time, because I just can't afford it. Child support just drains me so much that I can't afford to do anything. I can't be like those other ambassadors that don't have kids, still young, or their kids are older and they can travel. I'm not that person. I want to be able to travel more, and I want to be able to grow my channel and everything else, because I believe an influencer is someone that people aspire to be like or emulate. And I can't afford to be that person that travels and does 20 trips a year. Love to, but it's just not me. I'm stuck paying child support now for another 3 years. I've paid it for probably over 10, 11 years now, even more. And I've never missed a payment. I've always paid child support the entire time. I don't complain about it. But it's just too much for a father to handle. Now moving on to how I lost my 2 kids. When my son Ben turned 18, pardon me, he was finally old enough to make his own decisions legally about where he wants to live. Now he's had a very tough time at home. All my kids have. Ben's told me, and we've made several CAL reports as well, but we've been told by Child Services that they won't act on anything unless my children are nearly dead. And what's the point of that? What's the point of making these reports with my kids at risk and the system just letting them down? So he turned 18. He was tired of at home every night. His mother would be outside or in the shed until late at night. Wouldn't make their dinner, wouldn't do anything with them. She would have security cameras in every single room of the house, so she would monitor them from outside. She monitors every social media platform the kids have, and checks their phones daily to make sure they haven't contacted me or someone related to me or any of my friends, and has me blocked on every social media platform there is for the kids. Will not let the kids contact me in any way. And Ben was sick of this, and also there was an app on their phones as well. She makes all my kids and also her parents, her own parents, have to have this app installed on their phone where she can track their whereabouts at any time. So she has to know where my kids are, and Ben was 18 and still being tracked. No matter where he went, he wasn't allowed to have any freedom at all. And that should send red flags when making these car reports that something isn't right there, that she has that tight a grip that she cannot even let them go for a second. So yeah, he had enough and wanted some freedom basically. So he decided after his 18th birthday that on school holidays, when it was my turn with the kids, he'd come to my house and I'd talk with him and said, look Ben, if you're not happy at home, you're more than welcome to stay here. You don't have to go home. You don't even have to talk to mum. I can tell her myself that you don't want to go home, and that's that. And he did that, he agreed to that, and he's been quite happy since then. But this is where it got harder. She told my kids, and I won't mention their names because they have been brainwashed against me, that I kidnapped Ben, that I stole their brother from them, and a bunch of other really bad things about me. And all I did was try and protect my kids. I can't legally take the other kids yet because I can't afford to take them to court. I had to wait until they were all 18 before they could make up their own minds. I would love to just save all three of my kids, but at that time I could only save Ben. I didn't expect her to have that reaction and get my own kids turned against me and hate me for just trying to help my kids. So since then, no matter how I try and contact my kids, I just can't do it. I try and contact them on social media, I can't do it. She blocks me. If I try and drive around to the house, she threatens to call the police. If I go to the school, she'll call the police. And we have a custody agreement in place. She gets around the custody agreement by saying that the kids don't want to come to my house, that they're scared of me. And that's how she gets out of it. So if I do get the police around there with me and say it's my time with the kids, all the kids have to say to the police is no, we don't want to go. And that's it. She gets out of the custody agreement. And I'm stuck paying full child support and not being able to see my kids. I'd much rather be spending that money on my kids, having my kids. And it's just not fair. Nearly 2 years now, I've gone without seeing my two kids. I just had to share it with you. It's just, it kills me inside. And I've been speaking to lots of other fathers, and so many people have gone through the same thing. We all have the same kind of stories. And I'm just hoping that everyone has a mate to turn to. While I'm editing this video, there's one thing I forgot that I really wanted to mention, because I want to be 100% open and honest with you guys about another reason why I don't have a brand new 79 Series Land Cruiser like everyone else. After my first marriage ended, because she had the kids the majority of the time, I left her with both cars, because one of the cars I'd done up specifically for her. It was hot pink. It was definitely a girl's car, so I wasn't going to take that. And the other car was a family car, the wagon, so I left that with her too for the kids. And I left her with all the furniture, so I basically had to start from scratch, take out a personal loan, rebuy a car and all my furniture again from scratch. And then after the next relationship, I sold all that stuff, moved in with that partner, and then when that broke down too, same thing again. I left her with everything again and started from scratch again. So each time I failed relationship, I had to take out more loans, and I was struggling to pay those loans, and then I had to get a credit card out, and then I couldn't pay that either, and just debt was piling up because all these failed relationships, I just couldn't afford to pay and live, as well as this child support. So I ended up a couple of years ago going on a debt agreement, which is one step away from bankruptcy. It's not bankruptcy, but it's one step closer to it, which means I only had to pay about half of my debt over the next 3 years. So that's another thing I'm paying back now. I'll be finished that in hopefully November, December this year, and then I'll be 100% completely debt free, which I haven't been for since my marriage, basically. So that's another reason I can't afford anything better than what I have now. Just looking up some stats here on Google now on suicides just in Australia. In 2020, there was 3,139 suicides, and there were 755 female suicides compared to 2,384 male suicides. Now, I know any type of mental health is extremely important, but females are more likely to seek help or turn to a friend. Males will not turn to a friend. They have to be tough. They don't want to seem weak in front of friends. So they're not going to seek help, and eventually that's why they end up ending things, rather than getting help and fixing everything. Like I've said, I think a main cause is fathers losing their kids. The system just lets us down, and we're strong people, but we have no way of fighting the system. Unless you have the money for a lawyer, that's one thing else. I'm just above the threshold for legal aid as well. So I can't even get legal aid, but I can't afford a lawyer. So I'm stuck in that limbo where I can't get any sort of help at all with anything. So basically I'm stuck waiting until my kids are 18 years old, and then they got to make up their own decisions if they're not still controlled by their mother, if they ever want to contact me. So I just have to wait until they want to contact me, if they ever do, even though I've done nothing wrong to deserve it. This is extremely hard to admit. No one talks about any of this kind of thing on YouTube. It's something no one wants to hear. You don't want to hear someone talking about this. It's depressing. People would rather just switch off. I guarantee 90% of people haven't even got this far in the video. Nobody wants to hear someone complaining about their life. But speaking out is what could save someone's life, and listening could save someone's life. So I want to put it out there, if anyone else is going through a similar situation or any issues at all in their life, don't ever hesitate to reach out to me or a friend. But I'm always here. Message me through Instagram or YouTube. I reply to every single message I ever get, and I'm always here for everybody because I know what it's like to go through this kind of thing, and I want to be here to support other people as well. The whole reason I started my YouTube channel, Instagram was great. My account exploded on Instagram. I think it was because I did drive an average car. I didn't have the best of everything, and I was just an average guy that people could relate to. But just sharing photos of when I was camping and everything else was great. People loved it, but I wasn't helping anyone. And that's all I want to do, is help as many people as I can. And I'm extremely self-conscious. A couple of years ago, there's a photo of what I used to look like only a couple of years ago. But before I lost my kids and everything else had happened. And my way of coping with it was turning to alcohol. I would come home after work and I'd have most nights probably 3 to 4 beers every single night. So I stacked on the weight. It's hard for me to show any kind of intimacy towards my partner. Like, I've just completely changed from what I used to be. I'm not the same person. So I try and focus now on helping other people in any way I can. Now, I'm an accessory fitter by trade, so I can help people by showing people how to fit accessories to their car. That's my way of helping them out. I've had years of camping experience and working with accessories, so I do lots of product reviews, and that's another way that I can help people. That's the main focus of my channel, is installations and product reviews. So I work with 30 to 40 different companies at the moment, promoting different products and giving my honest review. I love doing adventures too. But as you know, that's something I can't always afford to do. I do them as often as I can, but I can't compete with the other channels. I'll always be down to earth, very approachable. Like I said, message me anytime. I'll answer every message I ever get. And moving forward, I just want to continue helping people. It's my way of dealing with what I've been through in my life, and it makes me feel good helping others. So if anyone would like to reach out to me, you can either message me in the comments and I'll message you on Instagram or something. Or if you appreciate me manning up and embarrassing myself probably the most I've ever been in my life on camera for the whole world to see my most personal details in my life which nobody shares, let me know if you appreciate me doing this and if it's helped you. But thanks for stitching. So hard to bloody talk. Thanks for sticking around this long in the video, guys. I really appreciate all the support everyone on Instagram has showed me when I posted those stories the other night. Everyone acts tough, all males act tough, but you don't know what they're hiding deep down. So don't be afraid to ask your mates, are you okay? You're not going to seem weak just by even asking your mates. We need to get the message of male health out there more often. It's just too taboo and nobody wants to talk about it. So let's not wait for this that one day a year when you ask your mates, are you okay? Just to make yourself look good on social media. Let's just help everyone out. Alright. I've had enough rambling. I think I've told you enough. Thanks for watching the video, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. Hope the next one's a lot more positive. Cheers, guys.